Welcome to another day working on the project. I hope you took some time to rest and are back, re-energized and ready to code. We are halfway through our coding challenge, and I'm very happy you've been learning with me for so many days. Today we have an exciting chapter that's a bit longer than the previous one. We will look at the projects and skills sections. They are a bit similar, so we'll do both. Our client Jane has completed several projects in the past that she wants to showcase to potential employers. She's created a clone of Facebook, a Netflix replica, and her own version of the Tetris game. She's shared the images with us, so it's our task to bring this section to life. She also wants to showcase her skills, so we'll insert logos corresponding to specific abilities. This way, potential employers can easily see if there's a good fit. I've divided our work today into several videos. First, we'll focus on the projects section. We'll begin by setting up its layout and then move on to individual project cards. After that, we'll work on the skills section. Like before, we begin with the layout and then work on each skill icon. Get ready because there will be new tasks for you and more to learn. Let's get started. Like with the About Me section, I've got a job for you to complete on your own. Here are your tasks. Clear the existing content in the project section, add the class projects to it, then give it padding in the CSS file. It should be 8 rems at the top and bottom and 0 on the right and left. Next, create an H2 tag inside the section with the content projects. Add the class projects heading to it and style it like the About Me heading. Adding a font size of 2 rems, centering the text using the text align property, and adding a bottom margin of 0.75 rem. Are you ready to try? Pause the video, do the coding, and then come back. Have you finished? Did you have any problems? Let's review the code together now. I've written it in advance, so we don't have to go through the code letter by letter. You can see a section with the class projects in the HTML file. Inside is the H2 tag with the class projects heading and the text projects as its content, right? That's it for the HTML. Now let's move on to the CSS. I didn't mention this in the task, but let's add a new comment. We're moving on to a new section, so it's good to separate it from the rest of the code. If you haven't added a comment yet, pause now, add it, and then continue. Regarding the padding for our project class, remember there's more than one way to achieve the same visual result. I choose the simplest method, but if you did it differently and everything looks right, your solution is good too. Next, let's look at the heading styles. We have center text, a defined font size, and a bottom margin. And that's it. So let's check the browser now to ensure the heading is centered and the section's paddings are correct. Perfect, the heading is perfectly in the middle. Now let's check the section padding. How? Just hover over the section element in the code. Do you see green areas on the side? That's the padding. If you ever see an orange color, it will be a margin. Now, how we can confirm the top and bottom padding are equal? Currently, 1 rem equals 16 pixels, remember? Since we set the padding to 8 rems, we need to multiply 16 pixels by 8, which is 128 pixels. Now, please check the Styles tab in the inspector. You will find a visualization of the box model. In the green field at the top and bottom, you see the value 128, right? That's our padding. The left and right sides just have dashes. Perfect. everything's set up correctly and we can move on. You may have noticed that we repeated the same styles for both headings, in the About Me and Projects sections. On the other hand, I told you not to repeat code, right? Don't worry. We will take care of it later, during the optimization step of the project. Great, we've reached the end of this video. Now it's time to dive into the individual project cards. Let's go! How did you find the warm-up in the first video? Now it's time for more serious challenges. I'll introduce you to new CSS properties and techniques and demonstrate how to use them. In this video, our task is to prepare and display all the project cards beautifully in a grid. As you can see from the prototype, we have 3 projects in a row, 6 in total. So we will create 2 rows of 3 projects each. You might have noticed this grid layout on various websites for projects like ours, blog posts, or products in a store. It's a commonly used technique, so mastering it is essential. Let's get started. First, we will create a div to house all our project cards, then add all the images to show them on the page. Let's begin by adding a div with the class Projects Content. With all the projects inside this div, arranging them will be easier. And yes, here's a little secret, we'll use Flexbox again. You might have noticed we are quite the Flexbox fans here. Master it and web page layouts become a walk in the park. While other methods like grid exist, and you can read more about it in the additional resources, my goal in this challenge is to make you a Flexbox Pro. Think of it as a superpower every coder woman should have. With our new div ready, it's project cards time. What HTML elements will we use? Let's think about it. Our client sends us images, right? So we'll for sure use the img element. But apart from the image, adding a project title would be good, right? An h3 tag might be a good fit for this. Moreover, when a user clicks on a project card, we want to redirect them to an external website, like the project's GitHub repository. Although these are theoretical projects, we'll just use GitHub's homepage. So, we will wrap everything inside an anchor tag. That's right, anchor tags can contain more than just text or a single image. This time, we will insert both the image and text within the anchor tag, making the entire project card clickable. So, we have a plan for a single project card. Let's get coding. And here's a challenge for you. Prepare the first project card on your own. Are you excited? Here's what you need to do. First, inside the project's content div, create an anchor tag with the class Projects Project. Add the href attribute pointing to GitHub's homepage. To open the link in a new tab, add the right attribute. Next, within the anchor tag, put an image. Also, copy the image titled Facebook Clone from the course materials to your project. Then, create an h3 tag with the Facebook Clone content below the image. And lastly, verify in the browser. Ensure the image displays, the h3 tag is visible, and the link works as expected. So it's time to pause the video and get to work. Good luck! Alright, let's review the final code together. As you can see, I copied the image to my images folder. Inside the project's content div, I prepared an anchor tag with the necessary class, href attribute, and target attribute so the GitHub page opens in a new window. So far, so good. I put the image inside this anchor tag, followed by the h3 tag. Please compare their attributes and structure against what you've created. And now for the final step, let's check the final effect in the browser. Great! The image is visible with the project title underneath. Great job! We can move on. Next, we will create the remaining project cards. So let's clone the anchor tag we created 5 times. As you can see, we need to change a few things on each card, especially SRC attributes and titles. Before we do that, please copy all project images to the Images folder, including Finance Analytics app, Netflix clone, Tetris game, To-Do app, and Weather app. Awesome! Now I have another task for you. I'm sure you'll be ready. Please update the attributes and content for each project card to display all projects. Use titles and alt text similar to our Facebook example. Remember, the order doesn't matter. Arrange them as you like. Ready? Please pause the video and start to code. Have you got all the cards ready? Please take a look at my code and check if yours looks similar. If you have a different order, that's okay. The order isn't a deal breaker. Once everything's set, let's view the result in the browser. As you can see, the projects are displayed one after the other, from top to bottom. Don't worry about it right now, we'll fix it soon. The most important thing is that each image is displayed correctly, the titles match, and we know their anchor tags thanks to the pointer cursor on hover. Great job! That's another important step completed. Now it's time to arrange the project cards. Are you ready? And now I have the same question for you again. Do you remember how to arrange items from left to right? Of course you do. The answer is easy. We'll use Flexbox again. Now the question is, to which element should we add the display property with the value flex? Is it the project's content div or the individual anchor tags with the class project's project? I hope this didn't confuse you because the answer is not tricky. We'll make a flex container from the div containing all the projects. So let's do that and see if anything changes. In the CSS file, turn the project's content class into a flex container. Awesome, let's check it. The projects are now arranged side by side, right? But take a look at what else happened here. The page has expanded because all projects are in one row. Let's fix it too. How? Remember the Flexbox property called FlexWrap? Let's take another look at the Flexbox demo I prepared for you. The FlexWrap property has 3 values. The no-wrap value is the default, explaining why all our projects are in one line. But watch what happens when I change it to wrap. See that? The overflowing items have moved to the next line. That's exactly what we needed. Let's go back to our project. Add the FlexWrap property to the project's content class and set it to wrap. And look at that! Projects that don't fit have jumped to the next line. The layout is almost perfect. What's left now? Just the horizontal centering of all the project cards. We can add the Justify Content property set to center. Great! It's looking better now. We still have to make the projects look nicer and put some space between them, but we're moving in the right direction. That wasn't too hard, right? Let's move on to the next step and make each project card look amazing. First, let me share my idea with you. Every project card should be the same size no matter the picture size. It needs to be unified. Then we will place the title on the image in its bottom part, not below it. This title will have a blue background covering the whole picture's width. This is how we want our project card to look. And finally, we will make the project bigger when you put your mouse over it. Sounds fun? I will show you a simple way to put one thing on top of another and stays always in the same place. It might sound tricky now, but you will understand once we do it. Let's start. First, we will make all our images the same size. I'm starting with this because I believe you already know how to do it. Jump into the browser with me, turn on the inspector and take a look. Every project card has the same dimensions. Can you see that? Their height and width are the same, only the content inside is different. Some images are smaller and some are bigger. This is why the cards seem to have different sizes. So what should we do? We will make all images the same size, and then our project cards should look consistent, right? Let's check this out. Remember what we did in the About Me section to fill the entire space with an image? We set the height and width in the CSS file to 100% and use the object feed property with the cover value. Let's do the same here. In a new line in the CSS file, type the class projects project, then type the img tag, and add the styles we discussed. That's it. The cards look consistent now. Some titles are gone, but don't worry, we'll handle that. And why did we use object feed cover again? Let's test it out. Turn it off for a moment. Do you see the difference? The images look stretched. It doesn't look good. With the cover value, we can maintain their proportions while cropping them. Looks much better, doesn't it? Cover value keeps image's original shape, cropping it if needed. It's clearly the better choice, do you agree? Let's move to our next task, improving the titles. If you remember, I wanted to position them at the bottom of the image, overlaying it, and give it a blue background. We will touch on some theory, but it's straightforward. I believe it will be easier to start styling it first than positioning it over the image. So start a new line and enter projects project, then space and H3. Now let's style it. Begin with a background color of 144272, which is lighter than the section background. Then set the text color to white. Let's see how it looks in the browser. It looks promising, right? Let's add some spacing and center the text to improve it even more. Add a 1.6 rem padding and set the text align property to center. Well done! The result looks great. Right now, it looks like one long element. But we will adjust the spacing soon and it will be fine. Now let's dive into a cool technique many web developers use. It's about placing one element over another, keeping it fixed in one position. Think of the little heart icons on product cards or labels like bestseller or reduced price. Do you need another example? Think about the X icon used to close pop-ups, for example. It's always in the top right corner, right? These elements look like they're magnetized. And this trick is used everywhere online. And here's the twist. You will master it today. And believe it or not, you're already familiar with the foundations. Take a look at this. Imagine having a photo. Now imagine you want to place a sticker on it. The secret is to use two settings. Position a relative for the main image and absolute for the sticker. It's working like glue or duct tape. And now take our project card as the photo and title as the sticker. We ensure our project card is ready to hold the title by setting its position to relative. Then we prepare our titles by setting its position to absolute. As you can see, only the title's width has changed and nothing more. That's because we haven't defined the exact spot for our title yet. We want it at the bottom, right? So let's add a bottom property with a value of 0 to the h3 tag. Check it out now. Perfect! No matter how we resize our view, the sticker stays always where we want. Do you want to try something fun? Move the title to the top right corner by playing with the right and top settings. In the inspector, change the bottom to right at 10 pixels and top at 30 pixels. And that's the magic of positioning, just like placing stickers anywhere you like. That's how items like hearts, product notes, or X symbols are set. Simple and effective, right? Okay, now let's try something. What will happen if we remove the position relative from the parent container? I'm going to do it now. Look closely. Oops, our titles disappeared. But look up. There they are, at the top. They are still 30 pixels from the top and 10 pixels from the side. But now, the body element has become their parent. They use the body area to decide where to sit. It's like our titles aren't following our rules anymore. So always remember to set position relative for the parent element. Now just one more thing. Let's stretch the title by setting its width to 100%. Do you remember when I talked about our project cards? We wanted 2 lines of 3 cards each, right? Do you know how to do that? We will use a percentage value. But do you know how much? Let's use some math. If you want 3 cards in a row, the total width, which is 100%, should be divided by 3. Let's round it to 2 decimal places and we get that each card width is 33.33%. Let's input this value and check the result. Perfect, we have 3 cards in a row. But the cards are still too close together, right? Let's add some space with a gap of 1.5 rem. And look, now we have only 2 cards in a row. Why? Because the space we added as a gap changed the total width and now it's more than 100%. No problem, we can fix this by making each card wider, for example with 32% width. Making this trick is very easy, but it's not perfect. We aren't precise anymore. Do you see the gap at the browser's edges? It's not a big issue and you can leave it. However, I want you to get the most out of this course. I will show you how to handle this in the next totally optional video. I will introduce a little more complex technique. There also will be some math. So if you're curious, check out that video. Otherwise, feel free to skip it and avoid potential confusion. The choice is yours. I highly recommend watching it though, as you will meet this topic in future work. Let's move on now. And you know what? Let's add some padding to the content on the right and left. How about 5 rem like the hero section? Now the cards have more space on either side. Perfect. It's time to add some style to the cards. We will add a shadow and a little animation. For the shadow, simply copy the box shadow property from other elements and that's it. Now they look more 3D. Great effect. Lastly, let's make the cards zoom in a bit when hovered. How do we achieve that? We will use the transform property, specifically its scale value. Add a hover state for the project's project class in your CSS file. Next, write the transform property and set the scale to 1.05. Be aware, you need to use a parenthesis here. And why this number? Because 1.0 is 100%, so 1.05 is 105%. So cards will be 5% bigger. Finish with a transition property set to transform, lasting 0.3 seconds. All set, time to test it out. And what do you think? Our project cards have come alive. I think our cards are really cool now. I'm sure our client Jane will love it. So what's next? Let's move to the next section and play with skill icons. See you there. Hello and welcome. I'm super excited you've chosen to watch this video. If you're serious about becoming a developer, and I know you are, continual learning is the key. And trust me, this video is going to be helpful for you. Plus, it's great to see you're ambitious about this course. That attitude will help your career. So, what's on the plan now? We're diving deep into the case of project card widths. You may remember from our last lesson that our calculations weren't perfect. We had some issues with empty spaces on the browser sites. We will fix that today. First, let's remove the padding from the project's content class to see that changes better. Our goal is simple. We want each card to have the perfect size. All 3 cards should fill the full screen width of your browser. No more and no less. But be careful. If your browser window is smaller, the cards may not fit well again. You can see 2 cards in a row again. What's more, there's still a tiny unused space next to the cards. It's really tiny, but it exists. And our goal is to be pixel perfect, right? So what can we do? Well, we can use the power of CSS and its ability to do math calculations. That's right. The browser will do the calculations for us, which sounds fantastic, doesn't it? And what's even better, you will be able to use it in just a moment. The secret is the calc function in CSS. It's amazing for doing any kind of calculation, especially for setting elements width, height, or margin. Relative values such as percentages or rems are good, but sometimes not enough. That's where calc can help, and our current task is a perfect example. Let's say you want an element to have a height of 50%, but also want to add an extra 20 pixels. Writing it in this way won't work. The browser can't understand it. However, using the calc function makes it possible. The browser will understand and even do the math for you. The beauty of calc is its flexibility. You can use different units together, percentages with pixels, ems with rems, and more. It's like having a mini calculator right inside your style sheet. Here's another example. Let's say you have a picture and some text. The picture is always 200 pixels wide. Now you want the text to fill the rest of the space. At first, you might think of using percentages to achieve this. But percentages can be tricky when mixing with fixed values like our image's 200 pixels. Let's say you set the text block to width 80%. But wait, that's not perfect because the picture's size is fixed at 200 pixels, especially if the container's width changes. So what do we do? You can use calc, of course. You just set the text to take up all the space, but minus the 200 pixels for the image. And there you go! The picture stays the same size, and the text fills up the rest, just like we want. Now let's explore our real-world scenario. We have a container with 3 cards. We want to arrange these cards with gaps between them. And all these elements should have 100% of the browser width, right? Let's break down the math now. For 3 cards without any gaps, each card would occupy 33.33%, or 1/3, of the container's width. But when introducing a gap, things change. So here's how to think about it. You've got 3 cards but only 2 gaps, right? All 3 cards need to squeeze a bit to make room for those gaps. So each card's width has to be a little less than 1/3 to fit the gaps. How much less? Exactly 1/3 of the total gap space. And here's our magic trick. Now, each card will be just the right size with enough space for the gaps. Now that you've seen the simplicity and power of calc, think of all the design changes you can do with it. Keep exploring, keep experimenting, and most importantly, keep coding. I've also prepared a mini task to help you remember how to use the calc property. You will find it below this video. Don't skip it, you will love it. Hello, Coder Woman. You've been doing an amazing job so far in this challenge. Keep it up! Can you realize how much you've learned already? With every section, you're becoming more proficient as a web developer. Exciting, isn't it? We keep applying the same fundamentals we covered at the beginning of the course. And now I have a serious task for you. It's time to dive deep and put your skills to the test. You will make almost the entire skills section on your own. And yes, I'm really serious now. But hey, I'm always here, ready to guide, share my solution, and introduce some new tips. You've learned and practiced so much, and I believe you can do this. What awaits you now? Listen closely. We will combine what we did with the social media icons and the project section. So feel free to check the code we wrote so far for help. I want you to create a section named My Skills, or call it Tech Stack if you like that better. In this video, we will start with the layout, and in the next one, you will work on the individual icons. So here's a to-do list for you. Start with a section and give it the right class name, Skills. Please give it a padding of 8 rems at the top and bottom. Give it a background color, the same lighter color as the About Me section. We will switch between light and dark colors on the website, okay? Next, add an H2 tag for the heading and a div for the content inside the section. Do it exactly like we did in the project section. The heading should be in the middle with the right font size and some margin below. What about the skills content? Make it a flex container, center things inside, add padding, make sure the icons can wrap, and add a gap between them. Do it the same way as we did in the project section. Next, copy the icons from the course materials to your project's images folder. Also add them to the website. Use a div with the class skills skill for each. Inside, place an IMG element. This time, they aren't links to other websites, just decorative icons. So instead of an anchor tag, we're using a simple div. Please do it for all the icons, the order doesn't matter. Next, set the width and height attributes for each icon to 80 pixels. Make sure you don't forget any of the important IMG attributes. And lastly, make sure this section in both HTML and CSS parts looks similar to other sections. As you can see, this task is similar to preparing the project section layout, so feel free to use existing code and improve it a bit. And take your time, there's no rush. I have full faith in you and know you can handle it. Since there are many tasks and not everything might be visible on the slide, I've prepared a task list for you, complete with a screenshot of the expected final result. Download it, print it out, and check off tasks as you work through them. And your final effect should look like this one on the slide. When you are ready, come back and we will review everything step by step. Not sure about the icon style? Leave that for later. We will handle it in the next video. So, are you ready? I believe in you and I will be waiting. Time to start. And how are you doing? Did you get the result you wanted? Let's look at my code together. First, let's talk about the HTML. I added a class name to a section and put two main things inside it. An h2 tag called skills heading and a div called skills content. If you choose text tag as the heading, that's great too. Next, let's look at what's inside skills content. I put each icon in its own div with the class name skills skill. Inside each, I put an image with the following attributes: src with the specified file path, alt with a brief description, and both width and height set to 80. Don't forget to add all 6 icons to your images folder before starting. Now let's look at the CSS. As always, for new sections, I added a comment. If you missed that, no worries, just add it. You may have seen that I'm making the task details a bit more general on purpose. This helps you pay more attention to what you're doing. It's not just about doing what I say. Sometimes you must think independently. And this comment case is a good example of that. Please also be prepared for less detailed instructions later. It's no longer just about following steps. Let's get back to reviewing the code. I started by giving the skills class a lighter background color and padding. I then applied the same styling for the heading as in the About Me and Projects sections. Lastly, I worked on skills content. I turned it into a flex container with a flex wrap property set to wrap, allowing icons to move to a new row if needed. I also applied a padding of 5 rems on the left and right sides. And I added justify content property with the center value and a gap of 1.5 rems. As you can see, it's exactly the same code as in the project section. If your code looks like mine or close to it, well done! You're becoming more and more independent as a coder woman. See how quickly you're making progress. If something didn't work, don't worry. Keep learning and trying. The more you try to write code, the faster your progress will be. I'm proud of you no matter what. We are on day 11 and you've learned a lot, including some advanced topics. Keep up the excellent work and you'll soon be building your projects from A to Z. You're doing awesome, girl. In the next video, we will improve the look of the icons and introduce some additional cool tricks. Don't miss it and see you soon! Hello and welcome to the last video for day 11. Last time you did a lot on your own. Now you can choose between two options. To build the skill icons completely by yourself or go through it with me step by step. First, no matter your choice, I have a screenshot to show you what the end result should look like. As you can see, we've got more than just simple icons. Each icon will have a dark rounded background and a text label below it, like the word HTML under the HTML icon. And when you hover over an icon, it grows larger while its background becomes lighter. I've recorded this effect for you, so you have precise guidelines for this task. If you work without me, don't worry about small differences between your solution and mine. Your mission is to make the final result as close as you can. You can always make adjustments later after you watch my solution. The key is to make all the elements as you see them and include the effects I mentioned. If you've decided to work on your own, go ahead, pause the video and get started. But if you're not ready for that yet and want some company, stay with me and we will code together. Let's start by adding text under each skill icon. Use a p tag for this. Good job! Now each skill has its own text. Now how about adding a darker circle around each icon? You remember what we did for the social media icons, right? We added extra space around them using the padding property. Let's try that approach here. In the CSS, write padding values into the skills skill class with the same value as in the social media icons. Well, it doesn't look good because the icons are different sizes and we have text under them. If we try to make the space rounded, the icons will look like eggs, not circles. Let's look closer to find out why. Please open up the inspector and focus on the HTML icon. Do you see the blue area around it? That's the space used by both the icon and the text. You will see some empty space on the HTML icon's right and left sides. Now compare it to the JavaScript icon. It may not have gaps, but it's much bigger than the HTML icon. Do you see that? You probably remember we had a similar issue with extra space under social media icons. We fixed that by setting the image's display property to block. But that solution won't work in this case. With social media icons, it was simple. All the icons were the same size. We just added some padding from all sides and that's it. But here we need another method to achieve a uniform look and I'll show you how. We will use Flexbox and set dimensions for both width and height. Let's make our skills skill div a flex container and center its content, the image and text. That way, no matter the icon's size, it will always be centered and we avoid egg shapes. Let's get to work. Clear all the code you've written for the skills skill class so far. Start by creating a flex container, then align its content horizontally and vertically. Do you remember how to do it? Please code with me if not. Check if anything has changed. Oops, the text is now next to the image, not under it. That's because Flexbox arranges elements from left to right by default. Just change the direction and let's see. Perfect, everything is where it should be. Next, let's add a background with the right size. Make the height and width 10 rems and use a darker color as a background, 0A2647. And look at that! Every skill content is perfectly centered. Even if the icons are different sizes, it doesn't matter. Take a look at this. If we remove text from any icon, it jumps to the center. This means anything inside skills skill will always be centered. Please remember this technique. You will use it a lot. Trust me, centering elements is a common developer task. In fact, it's a topic of many memes online. It's the old question, how to center the div. And now you know. Believe me, even experienced developers often don't remember how to do it and look online for a solution. But as you see, it's not hard to remember. Just create a flex container and align everything inside using the justify content and align items properties. This method is simple and very effective. Alright, let's move on. Now we have square elements. Add an appropriate border radius to turn them into circles. Do you remember the value? Take a look at the social media section. Yes, exactly, it's 50%. Open your browser and look at our icons. They're almost the same as the ones on the slide. But wait, the text and image are too close, right? We can fix this easily. Write the skills skill class in the code and add a space and then a p tag. Add a top margin of 0.5 rem inside. Perfect. Now it's looking really good. You've done a lot already. Great job. Did you work alone on the icons? How close was your solution to mine? Remember, coding is flexible. There are many ways to get to the same effect. Now let's dive into hover effects. We will add two effects during hover. First, we will change the background color. And second, we will make the icons bigger. Sound familiar? That's right, we've done it with the social media icons and project cards. So you know all of that. Maybe you should try to do it yourself now. Please go on, you can do it. Try it out and then we can review it together. Alright, let's start to code. We will create a hover state for the skills skill class in the CSS file. Now we need to specify what changes we want to see. Let's change the background color to 2C74B3. Using the transform property, we will enlarge the icons. Finally, we need to add the transition property to the skills skill class. We have two properties to specify, so separate them with a comma. Let's set the duration, as usual, to 0.3 seconds. Excellent, let's see the effect. Everything works as it should, but you know what? The icons don't look as big as they do in the project cards, right? Let's make them a bit bigger, maybe to 1.1. Great, now it looks just right. If you made those icons all by yourself from A to Z, you're a coding rockstar. You're a quick learner with a talent for coding. Keep going. If you coded with me, that's excellent as well. You will get better with time, so don't worry. I wasn't good when I started either. I messed up a lot and learned slowly, but with a lot of practice, I got better and better. The most important thing is to never give up and to keep practicing and trying. In the meantime, remember how important breaks and rest are. That's why I'm inviting you now for some well-deserved break. That's enough learning for today. See you tomorrow.